Yeah, very big welcome to you, my dear Capricorn. The Sun is now in Taurus, and Taurus is an earth sign like you, and an earth sign that is saying, I am fixed, I am putting the roots deep into the ground so that I can grow outwards, right? This is like spring is established. Spring is saying, now I want to break out there, but it needed to first take roots, and that's what Aries did. And so Aries is, of course, that moment of we begin the spring and we push down into the earth, and now it's grounded enough so that we can go up further into the light. The Sun highlighting the moon that is in your sign. We see here the devil, we see here then the attachment to certain energy. Cardinal, you begin the winter, and the winter is more harsh, right? It's kind of like, okay, we have to understand the cycles. We have to understand that there is an extroverted time and an introverted time, and so you are more introverted than, let's say here, Taurus, right? As a fixed sign, he is established, he is like, I am here and that's it. And you kind of like, okay, well, I am understanding that the cycle brings me to make the amount of money that I can survive the winter. So we see that this is not really a person. These are the seasons, these are the planets ruled by Venus. And so in this month we are looking at Venus, right? Specifically as the main theme. What is Venus wanting to tell you through love and through beauty? And you are ruled by Saturn, and Saturn are the borders, are the lessons. And so this is what rules you, and this is what is talking here, right? It's not that there is a devil. It's like we sometimes get cut off from source, or we get attached, that someone takes care of us, right? So there's two ways of looking at how this flower is stuck in this vase. But the way out is the snake. The Kundalini is the understanding that you need to use the third eye, because Taurus, or the Hierophant, is the 5th major arcana, and you the 15th. So there's a 5 plus a 1, and the 1 is the third eye, the inner eye. The yoga position for Taurus is not anymore these two pillars that also in your deck. The guru doesn't need two pillars. He has the two arms, you know. He needs to work with the duality. And so here in the Hierophant we have energies like structure and knowledge, but also the wisdom, the teacher, and the ritual through the tradition, right? Handed down over years. And so I made a movement out of here, the two pillars, right? We inhale, go up, we exhale, bring the information down. And you, I gave you dancer pose. You are the dancer. You are really ready to take on this world and allow yourself to dance into the third eye. You don't need to work into the third eye. You dance into your third eye. Now this moment exists only once a year, but if we include the other planets, then this moment exists only once in your life. You are the Queen of Pentacles here in the Wandering Star Tarot. And of course you holding the coin with your left hand, and you're very intuitive, you're loyal, and you know what to do with the money, because you're the 10th house of career and success. You're reaching up and you have no problem. You are the goat. You can climb any mountain, and as such you are standing up there and you are the boss. It's innate, it's in you, it's you understand. Cardinal is bringing the responsibility to you to begin a season, right? And to understand, what do I need to do to survive the next 3 months? And you do know what to do, right? And that's why you are the boss. Back to the last reading, where Aries Sun gave Capricorn Moon the light. The message was, show to the world your true height, your true size, kind of, right? Because I'm just noticing that I switched here the cover for the German reading that I'm doing as well, and I'm just noticing it. But it was the same message. Interesting enough, right? Because I do 1 day, because the moon is 2.5 days in each sign, and then it moves. So I have a day for the German reading, and I have 1 day for the English reading. And it's interesting because I notice, is there a big change, right, to 1 day? And mostly the readings are correlating. Mostly there is at the end the same message coming up. So show to the world your true strength. And so we are gonna look today into the Venus energy. And Venus, I have inner-wise the Healing Pharmacy, Become Your Own Healer deck. And there are 309 cards, and I'm just gonna pick one. And we see what is talking. 253. We have the 2 is the High Priestess, the 5 is the Hierophant, and the 3 is the Empress. Now when we calculate this all together, we get a 10. The 10th house of career and success is talking here through the High Priestess, through the Hierophant, and through the Empress. 253. We are here in the homeopathy. We have Bach flowers, we have crystals, we have all sorts of healing modalities in here. And so here the 253 is Hepar sulfis calcareum, and it's called, hold on, lime sulfur liver. Through the desire of dominance, I have tried to form other after my picture. But each person is individual and alone, responsible for their existence, for their being. And so this is helping you to let go of being dominant. And you can be dominant because you're the devil. You can be dominant because you are the boss, right? And as the boss, you always know what needs to be done. And so you like to tell people what to do. But it's not to tell people what to do. It's about how you tell people what to do. The importance is to stay empathic, right? To stay connected. And so observe your desire to wanting to control others. Observe your desire to dominate, and observe that you want people to be like you, and that would be quite boring, right? And each person is of course responsible for their energy, for their life's work, right? And so I think Venus here is saying, then see beauty in the 10 that is coming through the High Priestess, through the Hierophant, and also then of course through the Empress that is here in this card. So the 10 in the end is left, and the 10 is beautiful because the 10 brings you an understanding of yourself, right, through this healing modality. So we begin the reading. We have of course now the path to your full moon to the right, and the Fool is talking. The Fool is connected with Uranus, and Uranus brings you the Chariot. And look at that, the Chariot is Cancer, is the month where you get your full moon, and it's almost like you are eager to go and shine and step out and step down as the Fool. So the 7 is the emotional intelligence that we gain. If I calculate the 2 and the 5 together here, I get a 7 as well, right? The 7 and then the 3 is the 10. And so you have the 7 in the healing modality. So you are understanding that these cards are always talking about what is influencing us above and below and to the right and to the left, in the front and from behind and from within. Because that's what the tarot is about. It's not just something that we say, well, this is happening because we think so after the picture. It's quite interesting, right? How the astrology is very strong in these cards, and the planets are really influencing us if we believe in it or not. And so you have the 7 and you want to go to your full moon, and it's clear that you're eager to go out and show yourself. Then speaks the Magician. The Magician comes here through the Earth Keeper, the number 18. And the 18, of course, is the moon, right? And the moon is in your sign right now. And so the Magician is talking through Mercury to you and is bringing you the Earth Keeper as a symbol of, in your subconscious, you know that we need to take care of the earth. We need to live with the earth. And so the 18 plus the 1 is the 19. And then the Sun is supporting all. The Sun is here to give us an understanding that everything evolves or turns around the Sun. And the Sun is a dwarf star, right? It's a small star. And here we have the 19, which then becomes the 10. And so you are eager to go into the 10. You are eager to go out into your full moon. And it's almost like the emotional intelligence that you have understood is actually now helping you to make decisions that lead you to the 10, right? The 10 as your house. And so understand what is coming here to you. Then I wanted to know what is bringing the Earth Keeper, and it's the 7 of Wands to the left. And it's interesting because the 7 of Wands is the courage to understand the emotional intelligence, is the courage to stand up in front of these women and let them know I am a leader, particularly then to the opposite sign of yours, right? Because Cancer is the energy opposite of you. You need to show to Cancer that you can be a leader in the emotional intelligence, not in the finances, not in the 10th house of career and success, that you can be a leader in the emotional aspects of life. And so this is very interesting because the 10 here and the 7 is turning into a 7, and the 7 is then the star Aquarius, right? And you learning that this is really important right now. And then the 8 is left. The 8 is then here, the 7 and the 8, a succession to understand that everything is infinite and that you are learning your craft and that you are learning to be deeply connected with life, right? Because the 7 of Wands is connected with Mars in Leo. And Mars was in the last reading, Aries Sun gave you the light, and it was the message, now show to the world your true strength. And your true strength is not to show how much you can be in or successful in your career. It's how much you can really accept the emotional intelligence to lead people, to care for the earth, to care for others. Then speaks the High Priestess, and the High Priestess is saying, then comes the Five of Cups, and the Five of Cups is a sadness, is now Mars in Scorpio. So you had Mars in Leo, and Mars in Leo is a different energy than Mars in Scorpio, and Scorpio is the transformation. And so the 5 and the 2 of the High Priestess turns into a 7. She is the intuition. She is feeling when someone feels down. She is there for someone when she notices someone needs help. And so the emotional intelligence is being practically put at use, because you had here the 7, then the 8, and now a 7 again. 2 times the 7. Be creative in the way you show your emotional intelligence, in the way you help other people to thrive, or actually to overcome a certain sadness, right? And your intuition grows in that. You know that certain energies are important and that you are needing to understand what is working here. Is this your own sadness, or is this someone else's sadness, right? And that's where the intuition comes in. Then speaks the Empress, and she says, then you can shine through the sun. The 19 is here, of course, the union of masculine and feminine. The sun gives light to all, and the 19 plus the 3 is the 22, and the 22 is the Fool, right? Here, the Chariot, Cancer, going to your full moon. That's where Cancer gives you the light, and you have arrived in the full understanding of what it means to be emotional intelligent. This emotional intelligence is a word that I've been using a lot lately, because it really resonates with me, and it really brings to me an understanding. That's what an Empress does. She is the mother of all mothers, right? And so the 22 is a portal here, and of course leading back to the Fool, because the Fool is a 0, and at the same time the 22 major arcana. And so Cancer came up there, and it's clear that the sun in Cancer is going to give you the full moon light, and you are feeling it already. And you know you can shine, and you know you can now go out there. It's your path to be outwards, right, into the full moon. And after that, it's the path going back in again. And so we need to understand that, right, that this sadness is not really an outer sadness. It's an inner sadness that you maybe feel through other people. And then speaks Taurus. Taurus is saying here, the Page of Cups are all 3 water signs, which is of course Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And Scorpio came here through Mars in Scorpio, right? And you have to learn that Cancer is bringing you the light, and that this emotional intelligence you can learn through the younger generation. They are more sensitive than we are, because for some reason they're more intuitive, and so the 3 plus the 5 turns into an 8. Again, infinitely learn from the water signs, right? Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And that's the message, right? Simply the spiritual message: become more loving, become more caring, and then you can shine, because the sun is in Taurus. And so you can shine your light and really understand that it's not only about one element, it's about 4 elements, and then the 5th element is us, right? Then speaks the Queen of Pentacles, and the Queen of Pentacles is saying the 4 of Cups are coming, which is Moon in Cancer, and you have 5 cups together we have 9 cups. But you also have a cup here, right? And it's very interesting. Then you have 10 cups, and 10 cups is really Mars in Pisces, is like enjoying yourself totally, right? Being happy. And so it's really interesting. The sadness is actually helping you to not get blasé, to not be like, oh well, my life, blah blah blah, everything is amazing. No, it's kind of like you need to understand there's an extra cup coming, but you need to learn that this extra cup is an imaginary cup, and you looking at these 3 cups and you still think you don't have enough. 3 cups is amazing, right? And so the 10 and the 4 is the 14, and the 14 is temperance, and temperance are the 2 cups, and the 2 cups are getting poured back and forth, and so get united. The masculine, the feminine, the duality is getting united. And so here you have 3 cups, which is of course the Empress, but you get an extra cup, which is the Emperor. And that's the last reading. Show to the world your true height, right? And so here you understand that the 5 is left. The 5, which is letting you know that Taurus has brought you the 3 young generation of the water signs, and that's how you learn to become more empathic, right? And to give the love freely as an emotional energy that you are willing to give. Then speaks Capricorn. And Capricorn, we have Scorpio, the death card. And so this is the 13, and the 13 here plus the 6 turns into the 19. Then you understand when the sun is really bringing you the transformation through Cancer, right? And also through all 3 pages, the water signs, the young generation, then you understand that you going through the major transformation in showing yourself and being successful and being a leader. And the 19 turns again into the 10. Then you have climbed the social ladder. Then you have showed your success, and success comes always with a little bit of a transformation. As soon an event is over, it's almost like you have to let it go and focus on the next one, right? And so this is kind of like not really being bored, but being awoken from, you know, kind of like there is this excitement and there is all this like love energy, and then you're kind of like, okay, now I have to work on myself, I have to create that for myself. And of course then the 10 as the success always brings then immediately also the transformation, because one success doesn't last forever, we also need to create the next success. And so this is very clear talking here to you, right? And the 10 is of course for you always clearly a deeper understanding of why you're so driven to do what you're doing. Now Scorpio or death card is ruled by Pluto, and Pluto was 15 years in your sign. And guess what? 15 is your number. And so it's in Aquarius right now, and we had the 17 right here with these 3. Remember the 17. And so understand that you learn that Pluto is leaving. The Pluto is the planet of the shadow side and the secrets. You have learned your lessons 15 years long, to look deep and to learn, and now you can let go. Now you're freed. You don't have Pluto in your sign anymore. You get it for 3 months, but by the end of November, that's it. It's finished. It's done. Then speaks the moon. The moon is saying then you hit a wall. Then you start to maybe understand that I need to find the light deep within. I need to live it, because the 5 and the 6, the Hierophant and the Lovers together, the 11, is teaching you here to know that deep in your subconscious the teacher is there, the wisdom is there, and the obstacles are here to bring you further. And the 18 of the moon, which came here through the Earth Keeper, is letting you know that the subconscious knows what to do. And so the 18, the 9, and the 11 is a date, the 9/11 or the 11th 9, right? So you can pick the date that you feel like is more suitable for you. But I also wanted to see what is coming up here, and the Fool came up here. So you have the 9/11 and the Fool, and it's almost saying you begin a new chapter after this big transformation here, right? Which is, of course, here the 15 and the 13 is the 6 and the 4, the 10. And that 10 is, like I said, your understanding that everything needs to begin fresh. There needs to be a new moment in how you create the next event, how you create the next idea, how you create the next spark, right? Nothing is forever. That's the Wheel of Fortune. And so here the 11 and the 0 is clear that the inner teacher is coming saying, be crazy. And remember, the Fool brought you Cancer, brought you the Chariot to go out there and really now shine like a diamond, right? Shine like the way you are, because you are amazing, right? Then speaks the Sun, and the Sun is bringing you here the inner core, the number 18. Now you have the 18 here and the 18 here, and understand the depth of bringing you twice the 18 as the moon. And the moon, of course, the subconscious is always allowing you to see the depth of what the earth is bringing us and how we can work with the earth, right? But also to see that we learn from deep within to liberate ourselves from all the cycles, not just a certain cycle, not just a daily cycle, but also from big cycles, right? The seasons and what zodiac sign you are. You need to liberate yourself from all of it. And so the Sun, the 19 is the 10 and the 18. 18 is the 9, and the 10 and the 9 is the 19, and the 10 is left. So again, the 10, the career, the way you do things is important, and understands that you want to grow, understand that you also want to liberate yourself and not always be stuck in a wall or be confronted by obstacles. Also liberate yourself at the same time. But I wanted to see what's coming up here, and the 6 of Pentacles is coming, and that's Moon in Taurus. And the Moon is in your sign, the Sun is in Taurus, and the 6 of Pentacles is massage, right? Is giving and receiving, and it's reverse. She's massaging her. One is giving and the other one is receiving. And so this is what the triangle pointing down means, and this is what the triangle pointing up means. Now it's reverse. So I think you need to learn to understand that also the one that receives can give, and also that the one that gives can receive. And so when we understand that one can also not only receive but give, and the one that gives receives, then this card is okay, reverse, right? But you need to understand that. You need to know that the triangle pointing up is always the one that gives, and the triangle pointing down is the one that receives the massage. But there can be a mutual exchange when it's reverse. And so the 10 and the 6 is the 16, and that was in the last reading, right? Aries Sun and Capricorn Moon, where you showed to the world your true height is you learn to let go. You learn then to come into the 7, into the emotional intelligence. And this is what's talking here, right? The Sun is literally saying, Then I show you the emotional intelligence. That is important because that's your opposite sign. You gotta learn that, and that's why you came here in this world, to learn your opposite sign. And it's the most difficult thing to do, right? Then speaks the world, and the world is saying, then you can fall in love. The Two of Cups is here, which is Venus in Cancer. And so we have 5 cups, and we have 4 cups is 9, and 2 more is 11 cups. Now, if I add this 1 cup, of course, then we have 12, right? And I don't do that right now. I leave the 11 because the 11 is saying, well, you know now what love is. Love is floating. One is down here, one is up here, and both are enjoying the present moment, because that's what the card here is saying. It doesn't matter if the card is up or down. I think it's just simply to see it on a new perspective, and that you're learning again and again to arrive, no matter what the situation is in that present moment, right? Sometimes the situation is horrible and you're like, okay, I'm gonna make the best out of it. And sometimes the situation is amazing and you're still gonna make the best out of it, right? And so here the 2 and the 21 is the 23, and the 23 is the 5. The 5 of the Hierophant, right? The teacher that brought you the lesson of here, the 3 pages. And these 3 pages are very emotional. And so understand that the Sun is then bringing you a liberation in your emotions. And that's what the emotional intelligence is all about, right? And so in the world, you can then fall in love with just almost anybody, but maybe you're falling in love with the world because the Earth Keeper came here. And we need to love the Earth. We need to love it, because otherwise it's just not gonna go further. And that's where the reading is closing, that we have then here Cancer, and Cancer is literally saying, well, then you can go out there. You have understood the 11 cups, and the 11 cups is that moment where you awaken to the inner teacher, and that inner teacher brings you further forward to your full moon, to Cancer, Sun in Cancer, full moon in Capricorn. That's when you shine, and that's when you have understood what emotional intelligence really means, right? Because you can see it's a really beautiful card. And so then here the 10 is clear, right? The 5 and the 10 is the 15, which is you. Then you have arrived at yourself. Then you do not need to show no one that they have to be like you. That the people, when they come to you, they are perfect just as they are. Then you have integrated the healing of Venus. Venus of the beauty. Venus as the messenger of beauty and love, and also money. And so I think you totally understand what is talking here to you. And I'm really excited, right? Because maybe you do fall in love. But that's not the main point here. What's important is that you understand that falling in love with yourself is then at the main characteristic of the Cancer Sun giving the Capricorn full moon the light. You have accepted the opposite, and that's what's happening when we fall in love. I hope I see you in the next reading. That's when we get Gemini Sun highlighting then your moon again. Until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.